Hey, what's up guys? This is T-Bone here. Welcome back to another episode of playing Gemstone Legends. In today's video, I want to talk about Jisui, the newest hero that you can get from the altar. She is a Far East faction hero. She's an assassin type. And I wanted to talk about her skills and also, is she worth pulling for? So I'm going to talk a little bit about her loadout real quick, her skills, and then I'm going to show you how she works in both campaign and also arena, and I'm going to give you my recommendations. All right, so real quick, let's talk about her skills. She will give herself increased attack for 4 turns, and she deals damage to a single enemy based on her attack, and she'll do this twice, and then she inflicts mana choke. Her passive ability gives mana to enemies with the highest mana. Okay, so if she kills an enemy with her special ability, she'll actually look for the ally with the highest amount of mana. That's not 100%. If you have an ally that's 100%, she'll actually give the mana to someone else. And then if she kills an enemy with her own gemstones, she then will gain mana. She also increases the amount of damage that she deals with gemstones based on how much mana she is missing. So when she has 0 mana, meaning like when she just finished using her skills, then she's going to deal more damage from matching tiles. And so if you think about from that perspective, there's a couple of ways you can go with her. Obviously, you want to make sure that you have enough crit damage so that you can deal you can actually get the critical hits in there, and you want to make sure you optimize for attack as well. So attack is going to be really critical, and so you have 3 options if you really want to specialize. First one is to do what I did, and that is to go with the Berserker set that gives you 45% additional attack, but that comes at a cost of decreased health. Okay, the second option is to go for Zeal. So a Zeal set gives you increased attack for more, like the more enemies you face, the more damage overall you gain. Right, and so this works well because Jisui is actually more of a PvP type hero as opposed to what you would use against a raid boss. And so you usually will face, start facing off against 5 enemies, and so you're going to maximize the amount of damage you can if you use the Zeal set. The third option is one that is not often used. I don't show this very often, and that is the Prayer set. Prayer set increases the amount of damage you deal based on gemstones for every set that you equip. So you can equip up to 6 or 3 sets total, and you can increase your gemstone damage by 15%. And so for heroes like Maharo, who focuses all on gemstone damage, this is a good choice for him, and this could be used for Jisui as well. All right, so now that we've talked about the potential loadout, like what sets could work well, let's take a look at her potential in both campaign and arena, and I'm going to give you my assessment of her afterwards. All right, let's take a look at Jisui with the Golden Cyclone Relic equipped. We're not going to have any decreased defense, okay, so no defense down, and we're just going to see how much damage she can deal to a campaign enemy. And so you can see she deals about 20,000 to a blue enemy who she's strong against. And now with defense down using the same relics, let's take a look and see how much damage she can deal. So now it went from 20,000 up to 33,000. And now with Jisui using the Murderous Frenzy relic, let's take a look and see what the difference in damage output is going to be like. This is without decreased defense. So you can see that damage is a little bit lower at 16,000. And now let's take a look and see how much damage she'll deal against enemies that have defense down. And so you can see it goes up to 25,000. So it's a lot less than with Golden Cyclone, but there is a chance that you could attack twice using the Murderous Frenzy, and so that's where it offsets a little bit. Without any relics whatsoever, even with defense down, let's take a look and see what her damage potential is like. And you can see it goes up to 23. So what we see here is that equipping Murderous Frenzy only added a little bit of benefit, but Golden Cyclone added a lot. Okay, now let's take a look and see what happens if we equip it with a basic, attack up relic. All right, so I have equipped on a level 0 Feint relic, which is 10% increase in attack. If we were to attack using this, we can see the attack potential now goes up to 24. And so there's not a huge difference between having it equipped, having the level 0 equipped, and also with the Murderous Frenzy equipped. However, Murderous Frenzy does give you the chance to attack twice, and so that's where it's in superior. But this establishes the baseline for how much damage you can expect from her. But how does she work in Arena? So let's take a look and let's find out. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look in Arena. It's actually kind of nice that we have a lot of green gems that we can use right now. So we're actually going to go ahead and take advantage of that. And so with this, we should be able to activate everyone. And so what I want to, what I want you to sort of see is how much damage potential we have here. And we're going to use this against Streetbog, even though in this particular setup, you really should be making sure that you go after Katsuro because he is going to take out your full team. But for the sake of comparing apples to apples, we're going to see how much damage she can deal against a blue enemy that has defensive down. This time she doesn't actually have any relics. So this gives you a this one, she has a faint relic on it, so it gives you a good sort of baseline comparison to how much damage you should expect in Arena. So let's go ahead and take a look. Okay, and so you can see she deals 17,000 damage each against Streetbog, so comparatively less than when we were in campaign. And you'll notice that this is with defensive down. We're up against a blue hero, and we are unfortunately unable to take out the opponent. And now what's going to happen is if I don't get rid of all of the green gems here, Katsuro is going to be able to deal a lot of damage and take out my Streetbog instead. And so we do need to make sure that we protect him. And so let's see what we can do here. All right, so what we're going to do is we're actually going to cast Silence, because remember I talked about this in my previous video, where you should be putting the stack of Misery. You should be putting it on, for sure, you should be putting it on Streetbog for that specific reason. All right, so now let's take a look here. Again, I think that we are not going to be able to, we're probably going to be able to take out Streetbog at this point. That's good. And we're just hoping that we could save ourselves from Katsuro, and we do. So now let's take a look and see how much damage we can do against a green hero who is, who has defense down. Okay, and so you can see here we deal about 20,000, and we can almost take out Katsuro, which is good because in this particular case we do also have the opportunity to match gems. And now let's take a look at the gem damage potential, and you saw a 25,000 there. And so this is really where she is going to be the shine, but there's a lot of danger here. I was really lucky that I didn't actually lose anyone in this fight, but it could very well have gone both ways. So I think with Jisui, you really have to be careful about how much damage you can deal without without the legendary relic. I always say that her damage is good, and it kind of makes you feel like having the relics artifacts to give more gemstone damage is probably going to be the way to go. Okay, so that is my assessment. Is she as good? Well, let's take a look and compare her to Odile in similar situations. All right, so let's go ahead and compare against Odile. So I've changed up Odile so that she only has the faint relic. I've shown you what she could do with the main one that she uses, which is Gauntlet of Thorns. And now let's take a look and see how much damage she can deal to Streetbog. She's not a green hero against a blue one. This is a blue on blue. Now let's take a look and see how much damage she can deal against Streetbog here. And so you can see she is able to deal about close to 12,000 each time for 3 times. So that's about 36 hits there. And so that means that she's going to be able to, we can actually take out Streetbog pretty easily with this single hit after this. And so you can sort of see that, just kind of comparison wise, this is not a, she's not up against a red hero. And if she was, she would actually be able to deal a lot more damage. So you can sort of see, like, in comparison, there's a lot more damage output from Odile compared to Jisui, and I'm going to explain the reasons why. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and try once more, and this time we're going to go up against another off color, so not a not a blue hero, for example. We're actually going to go and see how much we can deal against a green hero. Okay, so this is up against we're going up against Necros, and you can see we dealt about 9,000 each time. Not all the time, but you can just see like Odile is able to deal a lot more damage. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the reasons why, and I'll kind of then give you my full perspective on Jisui as a hero and what you should, what you should consider when you try and pull for her. All right, so at this point, you've sort of seen both Jisui and Odile in action, and if you can see in the numbers next to us here, when we take Jisui and we take Odile against similar neutral affinity opponents, their damage isn't too far off, right? So Jisui was able to deal about 10,000, a little bit over 10,000 against Katsuro, and then Odile was able to deal about 12,000 against Streetblock. The main difference there's a couple of differences though. One is Katsuro as a assassin, hero will have less defense than Streetblock will. Okay, Streetblock typically will have higher defense as well. And so the difference that you're seeing here is actually already accounting for the fact that there is higher defense. If Jisui was to go up against a defensive green hero, like a hero with similar defense levels, her damage will indeed go down. And so what does that mean? Well, you need to take a look at two things. Number one is, if you take a look at my numbers, my attack value is indeed a little bit lower for Jisui compared to Odile. So that's factor number one, okay? But I think a more prominent and a more realistic sort of way to look at it is the fact that her damage output isn't going to be based on reducing or ignoring defense. Okay, so if you take a look here, 185% attack, with increased attack, but no ignore defense. Whereas if you take a look at Odile, she's actually going to show that, she ignores 40% defense. This really is a big deal, right? Being able to ignore defense means regardless of how high a defense an opponent has, she'll still be able to deal more damage overall compared to any other regular hero trying to deal similar damage to the heroes. Okay, so this ignore defense is really a big thing, and my Odile does have slightly higher attack value as well. So that's why you see more damage out of her. But for the most part, it really is the decreased defense, because if you take Odile and you go up against a variety of heroes that ranges from a variety of different defense values, she's going to consistently be able to deal pretty good damage. Whereas if you take, Jisui and do the same thing, depending on the amount of defense an opponent has, you're going to see her damage actually go down significantly depending on the value of the defense that the opponent has. And so this is really where the big difference comes in. I will say that if you've been in my Discord channel yesterday, my initial reaction was I was really disappointed, just because I just felt like, what's going on? Why is she not performing like I was expecting her to, given that everything seems so similar? And I realized afterwards that there was one critical factor, and that is depending on the decreased defense here. When you put her up against, regular heroes, and if you can put defense down and if you can boost her up, she does do pretty good damage. Won't be as good as Odile, because Odile does hit 3 times and Jisui hits twice. But I think overall, you could see that she could be built well. And I would really like to see what she would be like if you could actually build her up with higher gemstone matches. And so my take on Jisui is that, don't discount her yet based on what you've seen. I think that she has good potential. Actually, if you do get her, I think if you build her right, get high attack and try and see if you can get some prayer set on her, then I think you can actually probably see some pretty good damage output. And so is she going to be your primary damage dealer? Is she going to be the best one that you're going to get? It depends, right? Depends on who you have for sure. I think Katsuro is a really good option, and I think that, if you take a look at the green heroes, really the Katsuro is really good. You can also see Koharu is another really good one. A lot of people really like Jinsui as well, this hero right here. And so it really does, have, there's a variety of heroes that can probably do similar things. And it's just that I initially really wasn't sure about Jisui. After having gone through and done, number crunching a little bit more, I think that I feel a little bit more comfortable with her. And so I guess, hopefully this information helps you. If you liked what you see, then this should help you decide on going after her or not. And if you didn't, then at least this way you know that you don't have to spend your scrolls on going after her. So hopefully this has been helpful. I want to make sure that I provide as much honest feedback as I can. If I had to give one quick feedback, and that would be, given that she is dealing damage to a single enemy with relatively lower attack value, I think she could benefit from a little bit of ignore defense in her skill, just to put her more on par with some of the more recent heroes that have come out. But I can understand the need to balance, and so let's I think that we could go with this for now, and hopefully this is good enough information for you to decide what to do. All right, guys, that's going to be it for me for today. Thanks a lot for watching. Take care, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye now.